right, good morning, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. It's Tuesday. It's big day today, big news day, and I've got my coffee. So hopefully you do too. It's CPI day, so we're going to obviously talk about that because that's out already before the markets opened. I was up bright and early, watched that, reading that news. So that's basically where we're going to start off. But before we welcome people here, if you're watching this on the replay, we go live every Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock Pacific time to about 8:45. So it'd be great to have you join live and join us on the live stream. It'd be great to have you here. So before we say good morning, just thank you for everybody that's joining, and let's see who's here. Good morning. First one in today, Zach. Good morning and welcome. I do need a sip of coffee. And lots of people rolling in here. Stan, good morning. Welcome back to the stream, Stan. And Brian's here. Welcome. And Vic, good to have you here. Don't get in trouble at work, Vic. Yeah, we had, I guess, obviously we'll talk about the news and we'll talk about that. We did have a bit of a really big jump right at the beginning, but it seems to maybe settle down a little bit. But also it's we'll see if it carries through. Nicole, good morning. Welcome. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining. And Jason is here. Got his coffee and sunshine. And Santa Rally, if it happens, could be muted. Very well could be. So we will see what happens. And there we go. That's the start. So that is the news. Let me bring on the news. Give me 1 sec here. There we go. I guess I could add myself to the stream too. Okay, so that's the news for this morning. Obviously, you probably saw that came out before, obviously before the markets open. Came out November CPI, and talking about the United States here, rise of 7.1% year over year. So still high, right? That's still a big number, but it is trending down, which is a good thing. And economists expected it to rise 7.3 over the prior year. So we're under expectations, which I guess is a good thing. And that's what we're seeing, as Vic was mentioning, where we did have a bit of a, as to quote Vic there, a rip in the market very early when it did open. It was there was a lot of green on there. And what it did, sorry, I clicked the wrong button there. It's what it did is markets reacting. So that was, I guess, a good thing for everybody that we're holding our investments. It's going to be, I think, a decent day. We'll have to see whether it does continue. It seemed to have a really big jump at the beginning, and things will settle down as we go. And then obviously the big day is tomorrow, which we kind of know. We do kind of know what's coming with rates for the states. Obviously, predictions is half of 1% again. So I think we're going to see that. And whether we see the market continue, do we have a bit of a Santa rally, like Vic is saying? We can always be optimistic. I'm always optimistic for a Santa rally this time of year. We'll see. We'll definitely see what happens on that one. So if, as always, with the streams as we go, if anybody has any questions, comments, feel free, jump pass them on the comments. If you're new and are afraid to maybe just say hi, don't be afraid. We do have a really good group of people here. We help each other out. If you have investment questions or comments, it's a great community. So it'd be great to say hi. Even if you just say, hey, I'm here, I'm listening, that's always good too. It's always great to have everybody joining along. Now, in terms of the bit of the rally today, the only one that seems to not be doing anything, or obviously going in the opposite direction, is Tesla. And Elon being Elon, I guess, is people react that way. And Tesla shares, I think I read it's like a 52-week low, if I'm not mistaken. And so that one's in the red today. So I was looking at my portfolio briefly, and that seemed to be the only one that was really in the red today, which isn't good, but hey, that's what happens. That's the market is the market, so nothing we can do about that. And that is true, Vic. We can talk about finance, but there is lots of other stuff happening in the world that is out there and obviously hurting. Yeah, it's true. If you, not to sidetrack from finance, but if you have Netflix, there was a new interview with the president of Ukraine, and that series that what's his name does, David Letterman. He was in Ukraine interviewing the president, which was good. I watched that last night actually, and it was interesting. It was good. You got a BMO yeah, broker offered me a BMO IPO at, what is this for, Vic? I'm not really sure what you're talking about. I do know BMO is, if I read the news, BMO is raising capital, and they're putting more stock on sale. Is that what you're talking about? Because they have to, they're trying to raise about $3 billion. So they're going to be doing a public offering and a private placement because they have to basically bump up their stability buffer for any kind of loan losses. So they need some cash on hands, and that's what it's for. Okay, there you go. Yeah. I thought that's what you were talking about. So it closes December 16th. Minimum order is 100 shares. And yeah, there we go. Additional BMO shares are being issued. What is the price of BMO? I'm not really actually sure. I could actually look that up. Yeah, there we go. You never heard of the stability buffer? Yeah, so basically what they're saying is OSFI is coming. We talked about this a little bit last week. I think it was Thursday or Friday on the channel, Vic. Well, you weren't here, but it's basically OSFI, the Superintendent of Financial Institutions, has basically said to all the banks in Canada, you have to bump up your buffers for loan losses, essentially, because they're obviously we're coming into, we'll say, a recession. We're coming into a recession, and obviously if people lose their jobs, people can't pay their loans. People have loans with the banks. The banks need money, so that's basically what they're trying to buffer up. They've all been basically told to, let me see if I can find an article on that, Vic. I can pull it up. It was last week. They said at the Office of Superintendent Financials, they need to increase it. Banks need to increase it by 0.5 percentage point to 3% as of February 1st, 2023. So they need to raise some money for cash. And BMO is 124 right now. Okay, yeah, I didn't have a chance to quite look that up, but there we go. So that's what they're doing. And that's what BMO needs. BMO needs money, so they want to issue some shares. So that was the big news for today. And Vic works for his dad. Well, don't get, yeah, Vic. If you're watching the live stream when you're at work, if you are watching a live stream at work, maybe have headphones on so you don't get in trouble. Unless you just work from home. Everybody, there's a lot of people still working from home. I'm not sure if that's the case. And actually, with live streams, there's no perfect time to go on live streams and be able to please everybody that works for different jobs and everything else. It's you got to just kind of go on when you go on, and people will find you, or if not, you can always watch the replay. Replay is always up on the channel to watch. So and there we go. We'll see. Still basically news headlines. A lot of it I didn't pull up a ton of stuff today, obviously, because the CPI was the big one. It is nice to see that things are slowly coming down, which is it's a good and good for our obviously good for our portfolio if it can carry on. In terms of my portfolio, no real plans to do any purchases right now. It's the time of year, Christmas, right? It's always it's always everything. You always seem to spend a bit more money at Christmas because you're trying to, you have to go places and do things and all that kind of stuff. I'm not a big Christmas. Our family's not a big. We're all older now. There's no young kids in our family, so or in our immediate family. So you can save. You don't have. There's not a lot of presents. Not a lot of presents to give. It's more of a. For me, it's more of getting together with try and get together with family who's kind of in distant places, which is gives expense for traveling. So it's kind of like we just try and get together and have a dinner and that kind of thing. So other than getting together and maybe maybe a bit of maybe a bottle. I'm not a big drinker, but maybe a bottle of wine kind of thing over dinner with family, and that's kind of about it. So, but in the new year, still with the plan, and I talked about it yesterday. I'll be starting to put that fractional purchase in there. And Vic, if you're a bear, I don't know. What happens. It's out of my control. It's we'll see how it pans out. Nothing's. I mean, for me, I can only kind of say nothing's going to change. I'm not going to turn around and sell anything right now. So market can do what the market can do. Just going forward, keeping the dollar cost average with the positions I have and not sweating it. So I don't. I mean, we go on the stream for daily to talk about it, but obviously my investments are all 10 longer years, so it's not. I don't have any kind of daily stress necessarily to panic. I'm not a day trader. I'm not not really even a swing trader in terms of that. It's mostly buy and hold stuff. So no concern from me on that note. So just the plan for the new year is to continue to invest the same and try. Obviously, the new year, my portfolio is nowhere near the limit of how much I can put in my TFSA, but obviously January rolls around and that will open up for a lot of people. And I don't think Candace is on today. I was watching Candace's video on her TFSA and she's kind of actually close. I think she's really close or really, really close to having maxed it out in total, which is awesome. And it obviously not refreshes, but it resets in 2023, January 1st. So we'll be able to start putting more money in if they've maxed it out. And that's my goal kind of every year is to kind of at least get. Obviously, I have a lot of room left, but my goal is to Vic. Like this is why I'm not kind of concerned. I want to try and my goal for next year is to put in a minimum amount of that. What that limit is. Obviously, I can put in more, but that's kind of my goal for the year to save for the year. So that's what I'm kind of putting forward. So I'm going to start by doing that by putting in like a reoccurring deposit every week. I'm going to do every week. Probably VFE. I keep saying that, so that's probably where I'm going to go. Or sorry, not VFE, BTC.Y with the dividends to try and get those dividends rolling in a bit more. Putting $50 in a week will allow me to get at least one share to start with, and so I think that should be good for the year. And then as I get extra cash available to move in there, I'll move in there as well. So that's my kind of. It's always fun this time of year talking about your plan and your New Year's resolution. So if anybody has what's everybody else's plan, if for going forward, would be interesting to hear what they're kind of what are they doing. Oh yeah, good question, Zach. It's I wish I could put my entire. That's definitely not gonna happen unless I win the lottery. My goal is to try and put it at my 2023 limit minimum. That's my goal. Yeah. Sorry to clarify. I have a ton of room in the entire limit, and that's not going to be feasible unless I don't know. I'd have to not spend any money. I'd have to not eat for the whole year. I'd have to not drive anywhere. I'd have to live on I don't know, live on my mom's couch, I think, and not pay rent. But so um, yeah, so just my 2023 limit is my goal minimum. So, and that is, yeah, I read that actually, Vic, that was last night. If for people that are following, we can always talk, we don't talk a ton about crypto on the channel, but Sam Bankman-Fried was arrested in the Bahamas last night. So that was all over Twitter. I don't know if he's been brought back to the States or not yet, but that will be very interesting. He's up for charges on like wire transfer fraud. Like, it's not good. So I think he'll be going away for probably going away for a long time. So we'll see what happens with that. On the crypto Bitcoin kind of note, I mean, it's doing with everything else, it's up today. So that's a good thing. If you own any digital assets, that's always a nice green day to have as well. And we'll see if that can continue. The big thing is just to see really if this little rally if it's settled down. I mean, this is the thing with the market right now, and anything can give it. It's like the weather, like give it 15 minutes and everything could change. So you would go crazy watching it all the time. And sorry, Vic, I don't know what FHSA is. I have to. You have to spell that out for me. I'm not sure what that is, what that stands for, anyways. Unless I've missed something. That's obviously. So lose 20 pounds. That's a good thing. Yeah. Save 50% and increase my net worth by 1 million. There you go. Yeah, that's good goal. Good goals. I guess it's. I mean, maybe 2 out of 3 you could do. What those 2 are, you never know. If you increase your net, anything is possible, right? It's anything is possible. That would be good. That would always be nice. I don't need to lose necessarily any more weight, but that part would be doable. Save 50% of your take home. Like, yeah, would be doable. I guess it's you'd have to be definitely frugal. But again, increase your net worth by 1 million. If you pick the right ones, maybe. Not financial advice. Lottery, probably not the best financial. Buying a lottery ticket is probably not the best financial retirement plan. But I guess if that's what you want to try. I don't know. I don't buy lotto. Well, oh, so you live with you have to pay. That's the problem. You can't just, you do have to pay rent, unfortunately. And rent is expensive, like everything else, Vic. Mortgage payments are expensive for people. Rent's expensive. So it makes it tough to save. It does. I get it. I've definitely noticed it. Nothing. I mean, you see, we talk, inflation. So CPI in the States, Canada is similar. Everything's, it's very similar. And you say, we see it coming down just a smidge, but everything's still expensive. So it hasn't really. Oh, the first home savings account. Okay, yeah. Is it? Oh, so it does become official. Yeah, I don't know about this one though, Vic. I mean, I'm not really. I think they probably. I haven't read a ton into it because when it got announced. Is it much like? It's much like a TFS. Sorry, well, kind of like a TFSA. So you can put it in. It's not because there's the first time home buyers you can take money out of your RSP, but you have to pay it back. Where this one, if I'm not mistaken, the first home savings account, you can put money in and it grows tax-free like your TFSA, if I'm not mistaken, up to a certain amount. I forget. I don't know what the actual amount is. The problem with it though is it's I don't know, like what you have to read it about it, but like what happens if for some reason you're trying to save? It's obviously for a home. If you end up not buying, withdrawing your money and not buying a home, you're going to get taxed on it. It's just and it only, I mean, obviously, sure, people need to save for a house, but then it only benefits people. I don't know. It's not really necessarily fair because it only will benefit people that are trying to buy a home, which is not a bad thing. Like if you're trying to buy a home, that's great. But what about people that already own a home, or what about people that have no desire to ever own a home? And it could have maybe gone better to maybe increase the limit to your RRSP, or TFSA somehow, that kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know. And I don't know. I think what is the amount, Vic? If you know it, I think is it 40,000? Let me just pull that up. Let me see if I can find what the limit is. 40,000 lifetime contribution. So it's a $8,000 annual contribution limit, in addition to a $40,000 lifetime contribution limit. Opens in April 2023. You can still contribute 8,000 annual limit in that year. You have to really read into this. You must be a first-time home buyer, which means you can't have owned a home at any time during the part of the calendar year before the account is opened, or any time in the preceding 4 calendar years. For this purpose, ownership is defined broadly and includes beneficial ownership, blah, 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 blah. You would cease to be a first home savings account, and the individual would not permitted to open one after December 31st of the year, 15th anniversary of opening one, or you turn 71. So you have to be a certain age group. Investments are allowed. You can hold mutual funds, securities, so that's a good thing. Have to really read the withdrawal. You must be a first-time homebuyer to withdraw. You must also have a written agreement to buy or build a qualifying home before a certain period of time in that year. Has to be in Canada. Makes sense. And if you meet the conditions, you can withdraw them on a tax-free basis in a single withdrawal or a series of withdrawal. If it's not qualified withdrawal, you'd be required to collect and remit with withholding tax on non-qualifying withdrawals. So there you go. And it would be taxable in the same treatment as RRSP. So one thing I'm not sure about so they tax you going out, but you're not saving the tax going in. I don't know. It doesn't hold for up to 15. Yeah. It seems like, yeah, I mean, if anybody's looking at, yeah, there is a site, Vic, that's what I was just kind of reading it on there, but it's in depth of what the details are. So you can put your money via transfer to RSP if not used to buy a house. That's interesting. But then would you get I have to read into this, because if there's not going to be if there's any loopholes, they're going to close them pretty quick. But like, with Vic, you might know, without me having to read that whole entire page, if you're putting money into the first home savings account, it's not tax deductible like an RSP, I think. But if you're taking it out, it would be. If you're not buying a home, you would be taxed. You'd have withholding tax on it. I don't know. I have to definitely look into that. I'm nowhere near max. This is the thing. I mean, for me, I'm nowhere near. I guess people would have to look at it if it makes sense for them, if they're maxing out other things or whatever. Yeah, it's the hard part. The hardest part for people to save for home is, I mean, sure, you can put into up to $40,000 into this first home savings account, but like, let's be realistic here. What kind of home? I mean, depending where you live, obviously, but with housing so expensive in Canada, especially here on the West Coast, and I know from Ontario, my friend that's in Ontario, it's like $40,000 isn't going to get you a heck of a lot. So that's not going to be your only down payment, obviously, unfortunately. So there we go. 6% GIC rate my next year and lock it down. Are you? Yeah, I had a friend, Vic, that just locked into it. Was it? I forget what bank it was. It was 5.1. It was 5.1%. They ended up locking into a GIC, which is pretty good. And I think it went down. Is it Equitable Bank? Went down to 5.1%. It's there. So, and yeah, one-on-one. I don't do one-on-one Zoom chats, but hey, maybe we'll get you on the stream one time if you're willing to come on the stream. Maybe we'll see. I did put the invite out if other people have. The thing is with the stream, if I know there's a couple, I don't think he's here, but if anybody has a channel I know there's a few other channel YouTubers that watch the stream, and we had that awesome stream with Candace not last Saturday, but the Saturday before, talking about YouTube and all that kind of stuff. And I did throw that invite out to people that have a channel. If you want to jump on the stream, I'd be more than happy to try and help everybody. Not that my channel is huge, but any eyeballs is good eyeballs, and try and get some other financial people in the out on the channel. Be good to have you on. So there we go. Okay, so instead of RSP, I have to really look into it, Vic. I really haven't done a lot of research on this first time, because I'm not I'm not planning to buy a home, so I haven't even really looked at it. And so instead of RSP, you can put into first home savings account, and if not used, becomes RSP. Okay. So it is tax deductible on the way in and tax free on the way out if you put it into your RSP. So you technically need to have RSP room too, but there's a way to structure that, I guess. Kind of can go both ways. But if you're not planning on buying a home and you have RSP room, you could just put it in your RSP. But anyways, yeah. But I guess if you don't end up not buying a house, then there's lots of ways. And yeah, he's keeping me busy today, Candace. Welcome to the channel. I think you must have heard me talking about our live stream on a couple Saturdays ago, and you piped in. But no, good to have you here. Holy banana bread. Vic must not be working today. Keeping me busy reading all the chat. Talking about the first time. First, it's always a tongue. These tax-free first home savings account is what it's called, which I have to do some more research on. But I'm not buying, like I said, I'm not planning to buy a house anytime soon, or a condo or whatever. So yeah, everybody's quiet today. Everybody's looking at their charts or something. I don't know. We'll see, Vic, if how things pan out. We'll see what happens. We had that good jump in the morning. It looks like it's settled down a little bit. People taking their money and taking the money and running. And yeah, well, I don't know how Candace is doing today. You'll definitely have to ask her how maybe she had a good morning. It's hard to know. I don't know how she does it. I would probably go and I'm a pretty calm person, but it probably stressed me out too much. We'll see. I keep saying I want to maybe try once she gets maybe some videos up on what to do. I have watched a few videos, Vic and Candace, on day trading, and it's like, no, not really my thing. And good morning, Julius. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back. Yeah, you have to be. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of channels out there. Oh, Vic, my tongue is twisted today. There's a ton of finance YouTube channels out there. There's a lot of you have to take a lot of what people say with a grain of salt, because a lot of these channels, it's a business, right? You got to think of it that way. That's what they're doing. It's their business, and they have to do things in order to bring up, obviously, eyeballs on their videos makes them money. So the topics they discuss or push or what have you, to get that, you get your eyeballs on their channel and clicking their channel, they need to talk about things that get get people worked up and that are trending, and it can be a bit disingenuine, I guess would be the best way. So you have to just weed through that. And I always kind of say, like, if you're watching, there's a lot of great information on YouTube and online, so many places. I mean, but I always tell people, like, if you're watching, I can only be accountable for myself, and I can only kind of say, if don't buy anything because I do. That's a given. Go watch 10 more videos on the thing. Go read 10 more websites on it. Go to the stock website. Go read through as much of stuff possible, and then if you decide you want to purchase something, then after you've done enough research on it that you're comfortable with buying something, and if it happens to be one of the same stocks or ETFs that I do, great. But if you find something, you might find something better that's the thing about doing research, is it kind of sends you in one direction. We could be talking about, I mean, let's use anything. I could be talking about VDY because I want to start to do a regular deposit on it. It might not be for everybody, but go research it, watch another video on it, find some other channels that talk about VDY, go to some websites, read about VDY. And the thing about doing research too is it might steer you in that direction, but it might take you in a completely other direction too, because you might find somebody that mentions a similar investment. And this can be for anything, a stock or ETF. Doesn't have to be one like BTC.Y. It could be anything. It puts you in another direction. And then part of the learning I find that's what I find really interesting. And I get that from the people that are on the chat, kind of giving out other suggestions that they invest in, and it sends you down these different paths, and you eventually find one that you're comfortable with. So that's my suggestion on instead of following blindly what one person buys or says to buy or thinks you should buy. And so it can't drill it down enough. I guess it sounds cliche, right? Not, when everybody says it's not financial advice, do your own research, but it's really true. Everybody's different, right? And part of the learning is doing that research and digging into things about what you maybe want to put your money into. And I think that for me, that's part of the enjoyment, I guess. It doesn't always on the flip side right away pay off, depending. But if you have a long-term, I have a long-term hold positions on my portfolio that eventually, well, hopefully will carry on. That's kind of how I invest and how I learn. Definitely don't follow what a YouTuber says. I guess that's the Coles notes. So if for people that are watching and subscribed, I really, really do appreciate it. It's fun to see the channel grow. I've learned so much. I've learned so much in the last couple of years. It's good. It's definitely benefited me by presenting and sharing. But it's almost like I've gotten more out of it. Sometimes it seems like I've gotten more learning out of it than I maybe give out. But it's so it works. It kind of goes both ways. So there we go. Vic, yeah, don't get in trouble with your dad. So that's it for kind of this. If anybody has any, sorry, I never should say that's it. It's not over yet. But if anybody has any questions, comments, it's always feel welcome to fire it in there. We are coming closer to the end here. We go to about 8:45, so we have 5 or 10 minutes left. I have work today. It's kind of seems to be starting to wind down for the year, coming into Christmas. So I think this week will kind of, everybody's probably getting in that Christmas mode. We will continue on the stream until the end of this week for sure. We'll go into next week, but of course then it's coming into we're coming into that Christmas time of the year, so there might not be as many people around. We'll see how it goes. We'll still jump on. We'll see what happens. And then but in terms of channel going forward, I will get a portfolio update. We've had a couple, hopefully today continues. We've had a couple of green days, so it's always nice to do updates when things are a little bit in the green. So I will get that filmed on the channel as well. I still haven't done my dividend video for November, and it's like we're already halfway through of December. So I will get on that. I just have to buckle down and get in front of the camera to film that. I promise. So we had an okay month for November for dividends to continue investing. I have to get it obviously done before the end of the month, or I'm like 2 months behind. But I did share on the channel a couple days ago my kind of New Year's resolution ideas for beginner investors. Starting to get a lot more. Trying to do a bit more content for beginner stuff. And it's just the way it, it's, oh, Abigail's here. Good morning. Welcome, Abigail. Everybody's running behind. It's okay. Watch the recording. Check it out later. That's all good. That's all good. Thanks for tuning in though. Yeah, you got to make the money. So it's work. It's good. It's always good. Keeps the paychecks coming in. You got to make money. I'm not a day trader, so I have to do a regular job. But that's okay. It's kind of winding down for Christmas, so it's kind of nice. It's that time of year where you're kind of getting in that mode. I don't know. For me, anyways, everything's kind of finishing up for the year, and it's starting to get a bit quieter, just with work. Just the way work goes, because everybody seems to start going on vacation and going away. So it's actually kind of nice. So it's that it goes that way. So, and thanks, Abigail. Yeah. So that's kind of the plan for the new year too, is get a bit. We have a lot of searches I've noticed on the channel for beginner kind of things. So maybe it's a bit more terminology instead of drilling down into individual investments, which I kind of always say, like I just said, don't invest in anything I do research, but there's always some opportunity to share some of the terms, what's happening on. I mean, much like Vic was talking about the first home savings account. Like I couldn't remember what that what it stood for, and there's probably there's probably other people. So if I can do videos on certain things that people are maybe looking for some info to start off with, to figure out what it is, I will start sharing that in a playlist. So we'll be doing that in the future, and it kind of gets the content away from just sharing portfolio, because everybody kind of does follow that along, which is awesome. But obviously that's not the only thing to do with investing. It's not always all about me. So if I can share some other things that I've learned along the way, I'll do my best. And Abigail's a beginner, newbie. It's okay. It's going to be. I'm still Abigail. I'm still. I consider myself kind of a newbie too. Maybe a little bit advanced newbie, but there's still lots to learn. You can go down these. There's lots to learn with investing for sure that I haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg for. So there we go. That's our day. So Abigail, catch the replay. We talked a little bit about CPI, as everybody has probably saw the news by now. I think the next big coming up tomorrow, we will have the live stream on 8 o'clock. So I'll get that posted. You can turn on the notification. We're talking about, obviously tomorrow is the big Fed interest rate. We're in Canada, but this will obviously impact everybody, because it's America in the United States. So we'll see what happens. And thanks Abigail. I don't want to be intimidating. Investing shouldn't be intimidating. I think it should be something that people. I mean, I don't know necessarily everybody enjoy it. Like, enjoyment's maybe the wrong word. I enjoy it, and I know a lot of the people that are viewing enjoy it. But I do know a lot of people that don't. It's not something that makes them excited, and it probably should make people a little bit more excited, I think, or at least, if not excited, show an interest in whether they're starting out, because I think it's, especially younger people, should do more investing and definitely more starting out like that. Because I wish I did back when I was younger, even if it's a small amount, because you start to really see how a small amount, and I'm seeing that now in my portfolio, just with small, slow and steady. And I mean, it's almost been 2 years. And my portfolio is over $10,000 now, and that's money that had I not started this channel, probably would have spent other places or I don't know. That's, I made the conscious effort to start to save, and it's you just see it, you don't see it at the very beginning. It seems like you're just like climbing up this giant hill, but after a couple of years, you start to see, it starts to actually like, oh, this is actually, I mean, even if your portfolio is down, mine is down, you still see some growth, because I kind of think, well, if I hadn't put, that $100 into X, Y, or Z, I probably would have spent that money somewhere else and it would have been at zero. So that's how I kind of think, almost a little bit further, and it's always long term. And it's nice to see it grow. And it's especially nice once the portfolio starts to go and you start to get those dividends coming in, and you see, if you track them, because I track them in that, I just have a simple spreadsheet that I track them in. You see each month, like ideally it's growing as well, to be able to compound that in it. And it just takes time. Yeah. And you were looking at the welcome stream for the last 50 minutes. No idea the stream started to refresh and surprise. Oh, that's too funny. Were you watching the wrong, you have to pan ahead, I guess. I don't know what happened there, what you were watching. But anyways, welcome. That's too funny. So you were just waiting on the welcome page, wondering why there was chats and not and no comments, maybe. That's okay. Well, welcome. You can catch the replay, Candice. So you came in at the right time for me to say thanks, because we're kind of at the end here. It's 1:45. So thanks everybody for joining in. I do really appreciate it. But and now of course we get lots. And so Candice, you were wondering why he was messaging so much. You thought nobody was answering them. Oh, now it makes all sense. That's too funny. Technology. Yeah, that's how it feels. I know. I mean, that's like mine too. I'm down, but I just take it with. I mean, it's kind of like I roll with it. It's not. But I mean, some of the things obviously I'm in are definitely more volatile, right? Like that's just my portfolio. So, but it does feel like I've been. Sorry, I'm not talking about you, but it's same for me. It does feel down, kind of since I've started. So finally, some green with the bump up. That's true, and I have noticed actually, because I have my I have my or totally tongue-tied the word. I have my RSP with Wealthsimple on the invest side. I've never shared it on the portfolio because it's not. It just does its thing, and I do like regular deposits on there. RSP and that's kind of what got me started in Wealthsimple, because I transferred another investment out into Wealthsimple Invest, and it's just been going, and it's nice now because it was down, obviously like everything else was down and quite a bit, and it's now kind of back in the green. So it's kind of nice to see it, just let it do its thing. So it is nice. It's kind of nicely reassuring, even if you're not like fully in the green, Zach. It's nice to see it come up and you go, okay, I'm not making a complete mistake. That's how it kind of feels, at least for me. So that's a good thing when you have these days. It just kind of makes it know, okay, we're on the right track for the long term, where it's not like everything's not ending tomorrow. So there we go. And I'm not sure. I look at quantity more than value now. Anyways, you do the quantity of what is it? XEQT 20. Is it 20 a month? It's not 20 a week. I can't remember. It's 20, I think. You try and do 20 a month, I think is what it was. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyways. All right. Well, on that note, everybody, we are coming up to Q2. So I just want to again thank everybody. We always get sidetracked. It's always nice how the conversation goes in these always different directions. It's a lot of fun to join on. Gets my day started right. Gets me in a good mood for the day to talk and see how things are going. And especially because we're sitting on we're still sitting on a green day. That's a good thing. So everybody, if you haven't checked your portfolios yet, there we go. 20 a week was too much. Going for more like 25 every 2 weeks. Well, that's okay. You don't want to be poor from investing. That's the thing. You don't want to be cash strapped in other places if you don't need to be. So just be But it's a good goal, 25 execution, 25 execute every 2 weeks, attainable. And that's good. I think that's a good kind of recommendation for people, other people, Zach, is try and, set these goals to try and reach them. I mean, the worst case is if you're not able to put quite 25 in every 2 weeks, then, but get as close as you can. And over the year, you're still better than if you did nothing. So that works good. Anyways, can ramble on forever. Thanks everybody for joining. I will catch everybody tomorrow morning on the live stream. We'll post that up in the channel. We'll talk about interest rates tomorrow. We'll start off with that. Well, hopefully the market can digest what's happening right now, and tomorrow maybe we'll have another. Maybe this is the start of the Santa rally. We'll see. I'm always optimistic on that. So thanks for watching, everybody. We're going to catch off, and we'll loop in the fireplace to relax, to get into our day. And I start work at 9, so we'll catch you all tomorrow.